Hey everybody, welcome to day 3 of me opening up 7 toys for 7 days up until we get to Christmas. If you haven't seen the other videos, there's day 1 and day 2. You can check those out over here and, catch yourself up on them. So this has been pretty fun. I've actually gotten all these stuff for myself, so I know what they are. So that's why I'm kind of excited for the 25th day, because then I don't even know what it is. I don't know who my Secret Santa is for Ariana's stuff. I don't know who my Secret Santa is for my family stuff. Alfeo's sending me things through the mail, so I'm really excited about all those things that are coming up. But let's get to it. This is the gift for today. It's comic books, guys. It's comic books. It's in the brown paper bags that I always get from Black Cat Comics. So let's open it up. I wrapped this myself too, with the bow and everything. So. Alright, so what did we get? Well, I also got these for myself, so it's not really much of a surprise, but the first book here is The Wicked and the Divine. Now, my friend Adam gave us the first book, and I didn't really like the first one too much. I thought it was kind of disappointing, but Ariana really liked it. What's cool about this one is it's kind of a modern take on if gods existed today in our world. So it's very similar to how Wonder Woman puts it, where they're not super Greek, but instead they're kind of just they're kind of like the elites, and then they have their own games and stuff, and they toy with humanity, that sort of thing. So this is actually book 4. I got this at Least Comics for only $5, so it's like, well, might as well, because otherwise you're just gonna throw it away. So I picked that up. Now I have to get number 2 and number 3 to collect them, so that's something. The next book is the Batman Death in the Family book. This is the book where Jason Todd dies, so this is kind of a controversial storyline. Jason Todd is the second Robin, and there was a vote, I think via phone, where people voted in whether or not he will die by the Joker's hands, and everyone voted to let him die. I've never read this, but I love Under the Red Hood, the movie. I've never read the book, but I love the movie. Arkham Knight was disappointing because it was like, you already knew who it was, so there was no mystery if you've read Batman lore. So the next thing on the list is The Death of Superman, another Death book. So personally, I haven't read this one. I know the story. I watched the movie. It's called Superman Doomsday if you just want to watch the movie. It's pretty good. Those animated DC movies are actually pretty good. And then there's also this really cool DC Icons figure set where you can get both Doomsday and Superman, and they're fighting. Superman's all battle torn, so you can pose them. I think there's even a little set for you to pose them in. So it's a pretty large package. I don't know how much it is, but it's a little expensive. But it'd be cool to get one of those just to pose with a comic book and everything. All right, we're just zipping by over here. The next thing on the list is Batman Beyond. So this is the Batman Beyond for the Rebirth issue. And what's funny is that this book is written by Dan Jurgens in the 80s, and this book is also written by Dan Jurgens, but this is written like 2016. So it's pretty cool to see that Dan Jurgens is still writing characters that a lot of people care about. I mean, you think that like maybe a person who wrote 20, 30 years ago wouldn't really be around anymore, but here he is. He's just a vet that's just hanging out at DC making storylines. Now, I haven't really read too much of Dan Jurgens too much anyway, and I'm a big fan of the Batman Beyond TV show, but I've never read the comics. So I got this at the toy show for only $2, and it was like, well, you know what? It's a little water damaged and everything, but it's the content that matters for these. Super excited to read this Batman Beyond book when I have some time, because he's one of the characters, Terry McGinnis, and I think for this storyline, Tim Drake is actually Batman Beyond because Terry McGinnis died or something, and then I think Tim Drake dies of, I don't know how he dies, but Terry McGinnis then becomes Batman Beyond again. I don't really know, but I'd like to. Let me know what books I should read to figure out what the hell happened with that. The last thing we have on the list is Batgirl. So this is Batgirl from the New 52 when Stewart and Fletcher came by. So the cool story about this one is that this is actually all the monthlies right here of I think volume 2 or whatever it is. I have volume 1 in trade paperback, and this finishes up the entire series because it ends on 52. I got this from the San Jose Toy Show. My comic book store, Black Cat Comics, was there, and they were selling their Black Cat packs for half off. So I got this for only $10 for all these issues, which is pretty nice because like I think these are what, $3 or $4. Yeah, $3 each, so 3 times whatever. This is easily like $30 with tax and everything. A lot of people don't like her costume when she was redesigning everything, but I really liked her costume a lot. I thought the purple was kind of cool, it was quirky, and some people were also had some hesitations because this really feels more like a teenager book where they talk about social media and trends like that, but I thought the book was fine. I really liked it a lot. It's a nice break from what you usually get from superhero books. You know, like I spend maybe about $80 on comic books a month, and it's nice to have a little bit of variety. So it's nice that not everything is some sort of superhero story. Some of them are a little bit more lighthearted. So that's all the comics that I got for my special pack for day 3. I'm excited to read all of those during the break, or let those collect dust on my shelf while I read other things that I also have to read. The next thing I want to leave you with are my last minute stocking stuffers that you should get if you're still looking. I mean, it's like 5 days till Christmas. If you're looking for something easy, here's something easy. Okay, keeping this video comic book related, I'm going to recommend you comic books. 3 comic books that I recommend to give to your friends and family. So let's start with the superheroes first because that's always really popular. But the one thing that you should get for comic book friends, unless they already have it, is you should get them a Batman comic. Not just any Batman comic, you should get them the Rebirth one of Volume 1. So Volume 1 is right over here. It's written by Tom King. Tom King is kind of like DC's new like hit writer. Scott Snyder was their hit writer for so long. He wrote the Batman line for the New 52 from beginning to end, with some issues here and there where he didn't write them. So this is the continuation. This is like the handoff from Golden Boy to new up-and-comer. Tom King's a really interesting writer because he's ex-CIA, and he has some other great books that you should check out too, that include Sheriff of Babylon and The Vision. He also writes the Omega Men, which is the kind of a Green Lantern book. Those are really nuanced writing. I can't recommend Batman enough. That's a great starting off point. You should just get Volume 1. It's a great book. The next book I want to talk about is from Marvel. It's Marvel's Champions. Now this is a cool book. This is a new team from the Marvel universe, and there's a lot of teams out there. I wish they would actually make a new team for DC when Brian Michael Bendis moves over to DC, so he doesn't write Justice League or Suicide Squad or any of that. I hope he just makes a new team. This team here is like it's like a new version of the Teen Titans, basically. So what happens is that in the Marvel universe, there's some sort of event, and a few of the younger Avengers leave because they're disappointed about how the Avengers work. They view them as hypocritical, that sort of thing. So the people who leave, I think, are Vivian, Miss Marvel, and Nova, and they're all teenagers. They work together to form a new team, and they find other teenagers. They find the Incredible Hulk, who is the 8th or 5th smartest guy. Then they get Miles Morales to join their team too, and they also have the younger Cyclops to join. So it's like the younger versions of everything, and there's a little bit of controversy. Actually, there's a lot of controversy. I didn't know this, but there's a lot of hate in the comic book community about social justice and diversity, inclusivity, and I have my own political opinions that really differ from left and right. I'm not going to tell you in this video, but what the thing that this kind of has is that it's a very diverse cast. So Miss Marvel, she is a Muslim American. Cyclops is a young kid from the 60s who's transported through time to being modern day. Miles Morales is black. Nova is a teenager. The Hulk is a really smart and cocky Asian guy, and Vivian is this robot. So I don't think there's anything wrong with the diversity of the cast. I think it's fine, you know, because I really like these characters and their storylines. But it does get to the point where some issues become a PSA that you see like on Saturday morning, or I don't even know if they have them anymore, but it's like kind of like a cheesy PSA in a way in some issues. But the first trade is still really enjoyable. I like it a lot, and you should check it out. This would be a great gift to give to like a 13, 14-year-old, because it's very easy to read and the artwork is really pleasing for young audiences. The next thing I want to recommend is an indie book. So many people put attention onto superhero books all the time. DC, Marvel, even indie books, they have superheroes themselves, like in Millerverse. But this book is not a superhero book. This is actually a space opera book. So this is just, it's called Descender. It's a really great book by Jeff Lemire, and the artwork is by Dustin Nguyen, who is fantastic in his watercolor. It tells a story about this like futuristic world where there are robots who do our bidding, that sort of thing, and there's some sort of a calamity that happens that causes discord between humans and robots. And there's this kid robot named Tim 21 who wakes up many years later after the attack, and he's looking for his owner. But then so many things have happened in this 20-year gap or so where he doesn't even recognize his owner. His owner's changed over the years because they grew up. Anyway, it's a little confusing to explain. You just need to pick this book up. This book is fantastic. The artwork is all watercolor. If you can see there, it's all watercolor artwork, beautifully drawn or painted by Dustin Nguyen. I actually got the chance to see him at Comic-Con this year, and it was kind of cool because I just went in, there's like maybe only 20 people in his entire panel, and he gave out gifts to everyone in there, and he was just this really cool guy. So that's it, that's day 3, that's comic books. I know it was a little boring for those people who don't really collect comic books, but you should definitely get those stocking stuffers for yourself or for your friends who are interested in those types of things, all things nerdy. Until next time, guys, please follow me on Instagram, follow me here on YouTube, like this video, etc. And of course, share your comments below on what you think of those comic books, or if you recommend other stocking stuffers or whatever comic books that you recommend. Until next time, I'll see you tomorrow.